As we look at the impact of business on smart city collaborations, it's timely to shine a bright light on the innovation community that's been growing in Cincinnati, stemming out of Union Hall. I don't think she needs much of an introduction because of her efforts and her team are realized every day in Cincinnati's innovation community and beyond. Please join me in welcoming Wendy Lee to stage.
Thank you. Good morning. Just a few minutes. I think I can do this in 5 and grant you some much needed time back. Wendy Lee, I am the leader of a community called Startup Cincy, and I am the CEO or Chief Experiment Officer, some days I call myself, of Centrifuge, which is a public-private partnership put together with regional support to ensure we have economic vibrancy from technology-based startups. So that's kind of the thumbnail. I too want to give Zach and his team a shout out. I don't know about persistent. What I know is we need in this region thousands of Zach. That's what we need. Thousands of Zachs that have big ideas that can bring together lots of individual dimensions of an ecosystem to solve problems with technology. So I just want to thank you for giving us a chance. Now, or giving us an opportunity to be a part. I'm not a sponsor, right? I don't have money for that, but I have time, so I give what I can. Now, a couple of things. I want to be specific with us, guests from outside the region and those from inside the region, on a point of view we carry, not me, but we at Centrifuge carry, about what it takes to build an innovation economy and how we mark ourselves there, like where we are. Been here 3 years, it's gone by very fast, but I can be very specific with you around that today. So I'm going to start with that. Number one, in a tech-based economy, we need a lot of startups. We need a lot of them. And right now, we don't have critical mass. Critical mass to us, this is a statement you can report. Critical mass is 800 to 1,000 technology-based startups. These are not small business, well, they are small businesses, but they're small businesses who are pursuing markets that will require other people's money as they scale. Very important to distinguish. So we have right now about 400 in our CRM, in our database. We know what they're building. We know how many employees they have. We know what markets they're pursuing. We know how much revenue they have. We know how much money they need to raise. Centrifuge is the census taker for tech-based startups. And that's Southeast Indiana, Northern Kentucky, and Southwest Ohio. So that regional approach you've heard us talk about, that's critical to our success. This is not a statement about the city of Cincinnati. This is a statement about a very important region in the Midwest. Critical mass. We have 470 or so. We need 800 to 1,000. Tag that. So we're looking for a lot more entrepreneurs like Zach, okay? Now, where do these startups come from? Pat, who was here, maybe he had to leave, and all the folks from University of Cincinnati. Well, universities are an awesome source of new businesses, of startups. Yes to that. And there are other sources of them. There are a lot of corporates in our region. We have 140 large companies, over 200 million and above in our region. That's awesome. Not talking Columbus or Cleveland, just this part of the world. But at the end of the day, some of those folks leave and they start their own businesses, right? But we need more than we have. So if you have any ideas around that, ideas you want to develop, as we heard from Casey, you let us know because we want to bring them here. Now, why is that critical mass important to us right now? when you think about the complication, the sophistication of what's going on in a smart cities environment, right? You need a lot of shots on goal. You need a lot of people with interesting ideas that cover a range of technology. So I don't want to over-depend on a few. We need lots of ideas, and over time they can come together. They may integrate or be all part of one company, and that's why we need a lot. Plus, we cannot get outside VCs here unless we have critical mass. They don't come in just for a visit. They want to see a lot. Early, mid, and late stage. Okay, so the number is 800 to 1,000. Where are we? At about 400. So that's important for us to know. We are aggressively recruiting more. So number one, how are we doing in an innovation community? We're doing okay. When I got here, we had 11, at least that someone could tell me about. And it was a little bit of folklore. Oh, there's one over there. I met him for coffee. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Right? Put that in the database. We need to know about them. But just to give you a sense of it, we've really made good progress. And again, they were here, they just weren't organized. And all we've done is organize them. Number one, critical mass. Number two, the reason Centrifuge was even established was to close the gap of risk capital in the region. We did not have enough food to serve the babies. They were hungry. And they would leave here. Why? Because they could not get access to capital. East Coast, West Coast, out of here. Austin, Boulder, don't want to be here if I can't find angel investors or risk capital. Innovation community progress, alert. Over the last 3 years, through our fund of funds efforts and our own network of relationships outside the region, which is where I'm from, we have brought in $140 million, tag it, into the region for our startups. Now, we don't close those deals. We just know how they are, how they're tracking, and we help introduce them to early seed investors when it's appropriate to do so. 140 million is a real number. That's not a huge number. If you're in Silicon Valley, no one, like, what? Is that one company financing? But no, for us, that's progress, and we're very proud of that. And we have in play now very large rounds, very large, six-figure rounds in play coming up very soon. So that will be awesome. That will take that number up. We're in charge of that. That's the second way we would measure progress with innovation communities, right? As we want 1,000 venture smarter businesses. Okay, third, and I'll be done, that'll be good. Third, what's required to have a strong innovation community? Critical mass, risk capital. Number three, corporate engagement. Why? I've talked about university engagement. University is critical to talent and critical to critical mass. Corporate engagement, we can't build an economy unless we have demand for our supply. Our supply is our startups, yes? We have 400 and something here. I already mentioned that number. We have another 500 in our fund of funds that we've invested in through funds, not directly. But at the end of the day, with 140 large companies, you should know we have 70 that are engaged in this effort. What does that mean? That means that based on their own appetite for technology in their own initiatives, that they are taking time to look at our startups for considerations, not for acquisition, no, because they're early, but for use, internal use, to drive effectiveness or efficiency. That's awesome. That is good progress, 50%. Now, there's really 24 that are active in using startups, but the fact that we have 70 out of 140 that come through the halls of Union, the front door of Union Hall, not just to look at animals in the zoo, but to actually learn from them, that's fantastic. So, by the end of this year, on the corporate engagement side, and that's not just Procter & Kroger, right? These are companies, including St. E's and everything in between, that are actively involved. We will have close to 100 pilots, paid pilots, not free, not POCs. These are paid transactions between startups and large companies. I am very proud of that. That's real money that flows in the economy, and then those startups can do what? Hire people. Remember, I work for the governor, I work for the mayor, and I work for the big co's. I got to produce jobs, right? And so if I can get deals done, then those startups will produce jobs. Okay, wrapping this up. It has been a complete honor and pleasure to lead this organization. I want us all know in this room and those that are guests, we are just scratching the surface. I am not communicating any victory. I am only communicating progress. And I think for us in the Midwest, it's important to mark progress after 36 months. So with that, I'm really grateful that you all took time to be here. I'm sensitive to time. When you choose to be here, you're choosing to not be other places, right? That's opportunity cost. While here, I would encourage you to lean in, meet people, learn new things, leave here and showcase your learnings with others, and that will give us all the visibility we deserve around this particular initiative. So thank you very much. Now over to you, my friend. Yes? Who? Okay, right on.
Wendy, thank you so much for being here today. We are excited about the collaborations with Centrifuge and Startup Cincy, and we're so happy to welcome a lot of you and your team here. Many of your member companies will be on display throughout the day and will continue to impact the growth of our region.